All right, we are joined again by Parker McLaughlin, aka Short Game Chef. There was a very interesting short game sequence that played out on the par 5 16th. So there's a little bit of water left. A lot of the guys bailed out right to this sort of collection area. Scotty's was on the fairway. JJ Spahns was on the fairway. Tommy Fleetwood hit his so far right that it was next to the grandstand, but he got a drop in a little bit of semi-rough. And we saw three very different outcomes.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the lie plays a huge factor in it. Scotty and JJ were both in the fairway. Scotty almost on a slight bit of an upslope, so he was able to make, what looked like a very simple pitch shot motion. So slight open face at address and just making kind of a body motion back and through, was able to get a little bit of check on his golf ball, ended up 3-4 feet to the right of the hole. Maybe 5 feet.
Because he was able to get a little bit of that check, he didn't have to worry about height as much.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that these players look for is two things. They're looking for, am I going to stop it with height or am I going to stop it with spin? That's really what they're looking for when they get over these short game shots. And your lie plays a huge part in that. So if you're in the rough, you're not going to be able to stop it with spin. You have to stop it with height. As we go over to Fleetwood, looking at his shot, he's now in the first cut of rough, which is not terrible. And actually, like you look back at like Phil Mickelson, what he would say about hitting these like wedge shots, these fuller wedge shots from the first cut of rough, and it actually spins more. It comes up half a club short. But when you're near the green inside of 30 yards, it takes a lot of that spin away. And so he was not able to generate the same amount of spin as JJ and as Scotty, right? So now he's not able to generate the spin. He tried to go up with it, but he couldn't go high enough. And that ball just kept running all the way off the green.
Is that one of those shots that's harder when you're under the gun on Sunday?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. On a Tuesday, he would have like taken a bunch of hands, thrown it quite a bit at it, used a bunch of wrists, and like really tried to add some speed at the golf ball. And he probably would have pulled it off and spun it on a Tuesday. On a Sunday, when you're trying to win your first PGA Tour event, you try to mitigate the risk a little bit more, right? Because if you build all that motion and then throw it really hard at it, something bad could happen real quick. And so he's trying to mitigate a bit of that risk. And so he's playing somewhat of a safe shot and trying to get it somewhat high enough to be able to get it to stop. Unfortunately, newer greens, that ball's not reacting the way that it would in previous years. He had to take on much more risk to kind of achieve that shot and get that thing within 5-6 feet.